That's why I come down here. When the only thing you can hear is the chirping of birds and the wind in the trees. It's just so cleansing to the soul. Anyway, we're down at the lake and there is no wind. I've been looking at the forecast. The wind's just been very slowly but surely dying down. And so this morning there's no wind, if any. So what we may do is get the motor on. I brought the motor today and we will go and do something, and we'll wait for the wind to pick up. I think the wind picks up this afternoon, maybe 10-11ish it starts to pick up. Not many more boats here. So this is a little tender for one of the boats out there. This has appeared. I think this appeared a few weeks ago. I don't know what that is. It's like a, I mean, it's just like a day boat. It does have a rudder on it, so, and a place for a mast. And this boat as well looks more like a tender, but they've both got dagger boards, so maybe you can sail those. Never seen that blue one before. A couple of canoes are here. I think these were here last week as well. I know this is a colleague of mine's, his tender and Drascombe lugger trailer. No wind, we're motoring. Just come off the slip there. I thought we'd do a little tour of the boats here, just see what they are. I don't know who owns this one, Billy Boy. But it's quite a large boat. I don't know what that is, but it does look a bit Drascombe-y. It could be a Drascombe longboat coaster, that kind of thing. Brilliant boat for a little bit of dinghy cruising. Although I think really it's a bit big. But lovely looking boat. I do love that longboat sort of style, folk boat, longboat, you know, that Drascombe or Devon yawl or whatever it may be style. It's a nice boat, that. You could benefits of that one, it's got a cabin and that tent, like a purpose-built tent, which, yeah, makes it really versatile. But it's a bit big, a bit too big really. So what we're going to do, we're going to come around here. We're going to look at this one. This is a Drascombe lugger. What's it called? Draggletail. I didn't realise it was called Draggletail. We're just going to come around against the current and have a good old look at it. So Drascombe lugger is definitely a boat that I would consider owning. But what puts me off are they are a bit slow. They're very heavy and a little bit slow. So I'm just hoping the boat comes round. We're going to come round on its port side, our starboard. You can see it's got a little well there for the engine, for an outboard. So it's kind of weirdly got an inboard outboard. So it's safely tucked away. It's fiberglass with a wooden sort of top. We'll just come alongside it gradually. And it's gunter rigged, so it's got a gaff, or a yard is the official name for that. And you can see this one's got a reef and it's got the two gunter halyards by the looks of it. I think they're called topping lifts. Just going to reverse a little. Just got a little bit too close there for my liking. Trouble with the lake here is my motor literally won't go down to the power needed just to keep you in one place. You're either going forwards or backwards. So So you have to sort of give it a little dab now and again, and just let it, we're going to drift back slowly over that way, so you just got to be a little bit careful. We are the wrong side really. Interestingly, there's a load of bird poo on there, so the birds definitely like to sit on this boat, don't they? I actually know the guy that owns this boat, and he's offered me a sail on it, and as soon as we get some weather, hopefully we will be able to have a sail on it. But that's the Drescombe Lugger, big boat, but not too big. Let's go and have a look at this other one over here. This one's got a little cubby on it, but I think this is a standard lugger, but it's got a little, I'd say a cabin. It's probably not big enough to sleep in, but again, I've never been on this boat. I know who owns it again, but you know, that would give you a little bit of shelter, wouldn't it? And actually with this little tent over here, you could probably sleep in it. There's the mizzen mast at the back. And yeah, they're really hardy boats, good solid boats, got a lot of history, and a lot of people use them and have them, and you know, so it's definitely an option. It's a big boat, but you can get it off the trailer with a winch. They come with, usually come with a winch trailer, and they, you know, they can be single-handed on and off that easy in very shallow water. The Lugger is one boat I'm sort of considering as my next boat. Like I say, the only thing that puts me off is they are slow. A lot of people say they're painfully slow. They don't point into the wind very well, and you know, and as such, you wonder whether you'd be, I don't know. I do want something that can get from A to B. I've not got all the time in the world, you know, to do adventures. You know, I do have to work and I do have other commitments, so you know, that's an option. Other option is getting something like that over there, so let's go and have a little look at that. Hunter Europa, the red boat, right in the distance there, right by where my standing is. That's 19 foot, I think. Hunter Europa, brilliant, but it's a keel boat, so I don't think a keel boat in UK waters, if you're just starting out and you want to explore the coast and, you know, just dip in and out of estuaries, things like that, probably not the best boat. It'd take you to islands, it would take you to the Isle of Man, you know. On a good day, you could take this anywhere really. People have circumnavigated the globe in a lugger, but yeah, you know, I don't think I want that kind of thing. And this again, look, is a similar thing. I don't know who owns that yacht. That one over there, that's been, people talk about that, say it's been there ages. Proper boat, look at that, big long mast. I don't know what it is, but it's got a small cabin. Probably, again, you wouldn't really want to stay the night in there really, but it's a huge cockpit, and again, a proper boat. I imagine these bigger boats self-right. I think it's got an engine well at the back there. We can have a little look. This sort of boat is like, I mean, you would call this a classic fishing boat, and you know, you can sail these out on the sea, no problem. You can, you know, I know people that go quite a way out in certain boats, you know, Shetland boats, things like that. But these are motor only, and you know, they're a whole different kettle of fish, aren't they? Do you want a motorboat? Well, you know, end of the day, I'd buy 10 boats if I could afford them and store them. You know, you'd have a motorboat, I'd have a Sea-Doo, I'd have a lugger, I'd have this, you know, I have so many boats for so many different things. But well, what I wouldn't have is a big luxury cruiser, and the other thing I wouldn't have is a, you know, a speedboat. I'm not really into speedboats, but something that is fishing boat in nature. I don't know, those of you that know your motoring boats, you know, the Shetland series 570 maybe, they're a nice boat. Looks very similar to this sort of boat, but we're coming up on now. But you know, it's another option if you want to just cruise around the coast and that's your priority, then there might be no better boat than this sort of thing. That is a slightly bigger boat than this one, probably more seaworthy, you know, and yeah, again, I can see myself at the helm of that, struggling away with my big beard and taking the family out, taking friends out, anchoring, spending the night in it, you know. Yeah, of course I can see myself in that. But you know, I tell you one thing, the price of fuel these days, you'd have to think second thoughts on a boat like that. You know, the other thing is, if you put a decent, you know, the Shetland ones, you can put a 70 horsepower engine on the back and you can get to the Isle of Man. You can even go to Ireland in it, you know, on a fair weather day. And yeah, and you can, you know, you can go places in them. You got to be careful. You got to be, you know, if the motor gives up, you got to have a backup, things like that. But you know, you can do a lot in those boats, and you don't have to worry about sails and whatnot whilst you're learning to navigate and things like that. So they all have the benefits. But personally, I think a lugger or something of that nature, if we can find something like that to take cruising, that would be brilliant. But anyway, there's a tour of some of the boats around here that are moored up. Thought that might be interesting because we've not got much to do today. We found this kind of crazy weird channel of water where there's no gust on. You can see it goes all the way kind of weirdly across the lake and round. It's almost like a little mini road. Takes us all the way to the jetty over there. So we're over by the Adventure Centre, Bala Sailing Club, and my standings over there. And we've just come to have a look at this. So this, I think, is a dabber, a Drascombe dabber. You can see it's a, you know, smaller boat. I think it's 15 feet. And to put that into perspective, the luggers we've just seen are 17, I think, feet. And my boat's 10 and a half to be exact. You can tell it's the dabber because you think you can tell it's a little bit smaller, but also the engine well's on one side, so it's got the same sort of inboard engine well. I don't know if you can see that. And yeah, it's just like a lugger but smaller, a lot lighter. I think they are a little bit more, they're a little bit more tippy. Getting very close there, actually. Just wanted to double check we didn't we don't hit it. This boat here, I don't think they sail this one anymore, but this is that it's either a Hobie Cat or it's a Dart. So I think Hobies are quite popular in America and Darts are popular here. A lot of people have got Darts here. And they're similar to me. They look like the same thing, really. I wouldn't know how to tell. This doesn't look like a Hobie Cat, actually. It doesn't even look like a Dart. It looks like it's got new rigging put on, actually, but I think this is just the, you know, the Bala Water Sports sign and the flag up there. So let's go a little bit further and let's see if we can see what these are. Don't know what that is. That looks like... I actually don't know what that is. Looks something more like a wayfarer, to be honest with you. It looks big enough to be a wayfarer. You can see how the boat just suddenly changed direction there with the wind. That looks like you can hire it. Definitely looks like a wayfarer to me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not massively good on my boats. I tend to rely on the sail. That when the sail's up, they all have, you know, the Mirror has the M with the little boat, the Wayfarer has a W, there's Enterprise, things like that. So it looks like a wayfarer though. And then should we have a quick look at this last boat here, and then we've kind of seen all the boats that are moored in the water then. Yeah, again, it's the same boat, I think. So it looks a bit like a wayfarer. I wonder, I'd have to ask.